Welcome back to our tutorial series. On this episode, I'm going to show you what kind of pictures you can get from low-end gear. This picture was taken by a man named Justin Simenson using a Canon XT. This is the beginning of the Rebel line. This came out in 2005. It's now an 8-year-old camera body, and he's using a third-party Tamron lens that came out the following year. I mean, this is something you could pick up nowadays for just a couple $100. So what I want to tell you is that you don't have to have the best, greatest, newest gear to take beautiful photographs. I think this is a lovely shot. We've got this model here wearing a bomber jacket and aviator glasses, standing in front of what almost looks to be a B-25. It's definitely got a 1940s vibe to it. For that reason, we're going to go with a black and white process today. But before we get there, I want to address the composition. She's got this wild hair. It's super awesome, blowing in the wind. But I almost find it to be a little bit distracting. It kind of pulls you away from looking at her face. And the propellers back there are for sure an issue. So let's go in here with the crop tool and maybe let's choose a typical print size. So 5x7 is decent, but it's probably not really what you'd want to hang on your wall. This is going to be a real awesome glamour shot, so maybe an 8x10 is what you would want to choose. We'll just pull this over and click done. Just like that, we've got our base set up. Now, for black and whites, Adobe recommends you go in here to the treatment option and select this right here. It'll basically kill the HSL and color tabs, leaving you only with these black and white adjusters, which Adobe presets for you. I think they do a terrible job. If you double click right here, you'll set them back to neutral, and then you can come in here with the adjustment tab and just start pulling on things. I mean, her face is way too underexposed. So you can make adjustments here, and it's functional, but I really don't care for it. I think it's a little bit too complex. And so I'd like to jump back to our crop and show you a cheater shortcut. In the basic tab, if you come down here to the saturation slider and pull it down, you end up with almost exactly the same effect. One thing we do need to deal with in this photo, though, is that it is very flat, both in terms of its tonal range and its depth. So addressing the tonal range, maybe we'll grab this contrast here, pull it up. It's going to make the whites whiter and the darks darker. It's going to give us that punchy look that maybe we're after, and it's going to kind of give us separation between the lights and the darks. Now, in terms of the 3D depth, the best way to maybe adjust that is with the clarity slider. And as we pull that up, it's going to make her stand out from the plane, stand out from the background. However, it's also going to make her skin and everything else look really dark and grimy, and that's not what we want. So the best way to address that, if you've done black and white the way that I've shown you, is to adjust the temperature. And with this, big changes are required. So if you start dragging this up, you'll see that her skin starts lightening, becoming more fair, and maybe a little bit too bright. Let's just type in a number. Knock that down. Tint has a similar effect, but it's not as extreme. I mean, if you go all the way to the edge, you can really blow it out. For this, maybe we just want to shoot for like a decent lower number. And with that, we've already got a nice base to work with. I find that the sky in this picture is a little bit too distracting and bright, so we'll grab a quick vignette, really small adjustment here, and we're not going to feather it towards the edge because we actually want the edge to almost come in. So we'll grab the midpoint here and pull it down to 0, and that'll really kill off the brightness of that outer rim. We'll do a quick detail pass, because we always should. Remember, holding down the Alt key on a PC while you drag the mask will show you exactly what it is you're sharpening. Let's maybe go for something like that. Call that good for now. Okay, so by making the clarity really strong, we have brought out these weird patchy imperfections in her chest. And that's not fair to her because we're the ones that did it. So if we come in here and pick the adjustment brush and choose clarity, that's already pretty good. It'll knock it down half of what we've done, but maybe we want to add some exposure to this as well to really bring up her skin, make her chest look like her neck. Really want to add some evenness to that whole area. So now doing that, it almost looks like her neck and chest are even, but they're not quite matching her face. So we will make a new brush, and let's cut these in half. Come back in here and do a similar pass. Being careful not to grab the jacket. We want to just make all of our skin have a similar look to it. With that, I think we're mostly done. Although with her face, because we adjusted clarity up for the overall image, we need to come in here and fix some of these blemishes that we have made more noticeable. Again, you want to go just enough to improve the overall look, but not so much that you ruin the authenticity. And actually, she's got a weird scratch here on her lens we will also deal with. All right, so she is basically done. I do, though, feel like the sky is still a little bit too distracting. So let's grab the graduated filter I showed you in the last episode, and let's deal with exposure. So we're going to do a big, wide one. Oops, I was holding down Shift. Don't hold down Shift if you don't want it to be perfectly even. And we're just going to angle this so that it really knocks down this background sky and plane and adds more three-dimensional depth to the picture. Let's see. I think that's probably about it. Let's look at a before and after. It's before, after. I did that with the backslash key. And I'm noticing now that her skin was remarkably red at the beginning. I'm not sure if that was makeup or poor lighting, but it is something that's definitely causing this to be a little bit dark around her nose and sunglasses. But remember what I said, by desaturating a picture, you don't have the ability to adjust these things anymore. They're dead to us. The only option we still have is to go to camera calibration, and then thinking that with her reddish skin being so dark, maybe if we try to make it more yellow, we can bring it out. And actually, I think that is a pretty good improvement. Again, there's the before, and there's the after. So I think we'll call it good there. Make sure to leave some feedback below or on our Facebook page, and I look forward to giving you another video next week.